Dun, 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 dun. Welcome to the Healthy Conscience podcast, where a healthy conscience helps you be health conscious. My name is Linh. I am a registered dietitian, and today I have with me Mr. Vince Horiuchi, also known as my husband.
That's me.
That is you. So I thought it would be interesting. So Vince has told me that I'm kind of bad at explaining what I do and just like introducing myself as a registered dietitian and explaining what I do as a dietitian. So I thought it would be kind of fun if Vince go ahead and describe what I do or introduce myself, and I'll introduce him.
Oh, okay. Lynn makes sure kids get enough nutrients so they survive. So without Lynn in your life in the hospital, you could have a lot of serious problems. She goes in and fixes your diet orders. She makes sure that you get the nutrients that you need. If you're like starving, she's going to make sure you leave happy, and she's going to make sure that your body gets all the things that make it grow and repair itself. And if she's not there, then you will shrivel up into a little raisin and, you'll leave malnourished. And
we prevent that. And
also the most important part is she gives you education so that you can live with whatever issue that you're going through in the most healthy way.
Okay.
And sustainable way.
Yes. So to clarify, I work at a children's hospital as a registered dietitian, as a clinician there. But everything Vince said is a very simple way of explaining what I do in my daily work.
And did I mention she's the best dietitian that I know?
Yes, that he knows, because he really doesn't know that many.
I know like 5.
No.
Okay, but they're all pretty good too.
They are.
Except you're the best.
I think Vince has a little bit of a bias, but that's a little bit about me. That's what I do. There's a lot more to what I do as a dietitian, but I think that was a good enough intro. I want to introduce Vince and what he does every day. He rolls around on the floor. He mops the floor with his back, his legs, his bum.
Not with me.
I mean, he makes
from
kids do this.
Yeah.
So Vince,
I go into cafeterias and I tell kids to roll around the floor and save the janitor some time.
Yes. So Vince technically is a break dancer. What's the correct term?
Breaking.
I'm sorry, homie. So Vince is a breaker. He teaches breaking to the community. He goes into schools every single day, teaches at least 4 to 6 classes a day, and he teaches at a variety of different schools. He teaches the most recent one that I know of, the most unique one that I know of, is that he taught high school students, which has been kind of like several years since he's taught high school students.
Yeah.
For the most part, you usually teach like 3rd graders to 6th graders.
Well, in Sacramento, it was like everything.
Mm-hmm.
But since we've lived down here, it's been 4 years. I've only taught elementary school.
True. So shout out to Sacramento, where Vince is from, and I'm from Stockton. 209.
Are you out of your mind?
But so Vince does this every day, where he teaches kids a type of art form so that they can enrich their lives with something new. And his art form is breaking.
Yeah. And just to clarify, the program is called Universal. The whole goal of it is to basically bring art or hip hop into schools, into public schools. So it's arts education, public schools. It's a movement that is going around all over right now, but we are definitely pushing it a lot, and we started off in the city of Santa Clarita. We've expanded throughout the Los Angeles area now.
Nice. So you say hip hop, and then I don't know if anybody heard, but I started to go.
Oh, dang. Yeah. Are you a beatboxer?
Do you guys, this is an honest question. Do you guys do like, is it verbal? What do you call that?
Rapping? MCing?
I know, but like, because you do like a physical movement.
Oh, so we specialize in hip hop dance.
Oh, okay.
So there's me teaching breaking. There's a guy teaching house dancing. There's someone teaching popping. So street dancing, basically.
Street dancing, take it to the streets.
Yeah.
So
And
what?
I was just gonna say, I think it's something that it's definitely is relatable for a lot of the communities we work in, or a lot of the kids really connect to it in a positive way. Versus, not to put any other programs down, but there's sometimes other dances that will come into these communities, and the kids are just like, not this again. Not this
I used to be
dancing.
one of those
Like-
dance forms. So Vince and I, when we were in Sacramento, Vince also taught breaking up there. I taught cultural dancing. So I taught like Vietnamese dance and after school programs to enrich these kids with different types of cultures. And literally, I was the dance form that people would roll their eyes at, like, oh, we have to do this again. But then sometimes, I mean, some of the kids were like, yay, Miss Lynn is here. But that wasn't always the case.
I mean, it's funny too, because like, and this is the case everywhere I've taught, but like you go into a school, you kind of got to know your demographic, and you got to be able to connect to the kids in some way. But like, there's sometimes people will bring like, I don't know, what's a crazy dance we could think of? Like
Crumping?
no,
Oh,
kids could like most kids can relate to street dance because it's something they see on TV, they see on YouTube and all these. So they have some type of connection. They've heard hip hop music before. There's some type of connection to it. But when sometimes, like, say if you brought, like when I was a kid, the PE teacher taught square dancing, and we're like, man, we ain't squares. We ain't trying to do this square dancing.
I actually enjoyed square dancing.
I didn't, and we were like kind of afraid of girls too. So we're like, I don't want to link arms with this girl and skip in a circle. So yeah, I mean, like for me, like when we learned square dancing, I was like, man, this is for squares. We ain't square bears.
You a square.
You a square bear. You liked square dancing.
I did. I thought it was okay. So I'm very so when Vince tries to teach me dancing or anything like that,
She's really good. By the
no,
way.
I'm not.
You should watch our video
Don't.
on YouTube.
That's right. I'm a pro.
She did a
Jay.
coin drop.
I did a coin drop. It might be like the best coin drop you've ever
It
seen.
might just be a roll, but
Yeah, no, it's a coin drop.
oh, okay.
Don't take that back. But
Okay.
Vince will teach me like, or maybe not Vince, but like in the past, we've been together for a little over 11 years now, but I've learned a lot of like things and I've tried to take classes, but when it's technical to the point where it's like, do this, like I'm a very technical person. So they'll say step, 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 step. And then when they actually do it, they kind of just smooth into a step. So they go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But then it's actually 1 and 2. And then it skips something. They do an extra movement or they do like a smoothing of it.
Yeah.
They blend it together. And I'm kind of the person who will be like, no, you said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's why square dancing was really enticing to me, even as a kid, because I was like, I'm doing it right. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now turn around. I don't know if that's the right.
That just sounded really boring.
No, it doesn't.
But you know what you're talking about? It's a skill that you have to train in your brain. It's like learning how to, like, memorizing a song. Like if you're just you've sang songs before, so if you're trying to memorize a song, like you have to listen to it so many times and hear it and actually sing it also.
Yeah.
Like you can't just hear it and then sing it. You have to actually practice singing it. So same thing with dancing. It's all repetition.
Is that what you do all the time? When you're driving, practicing your singing?
It is.
It is. Vince can throw down on karaoke.
Yeah, in a very negative way.
No, I think it's entertaining. A lot of people are
Entertaining.
smiling.
Yeah, key word is entertaining.
Hey, you have a good old time.
All right. Well, yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm going to drop an album now.
You should.
I will.
So you're saying that dancing is kind of like a free flowing where you kind of go into the movement, like you are taught the technical way, but then you got to keep practicing it to be able to do the flows.
Well, I think what you're referencing is like choreography. If you were to do choreography, there's like a process, and then you have to learn. It's like a learning process too, because to learn to do those steps in that order. It's not just ding, 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 ding. It's like ding, 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 right?
Oh, wow.
So it gets complicated. But
why
for what
did I
teach,
think of a heartbeat?
I don't know.
I thought of like a heart rate monitor thingy thing. EKG
Oh, yeah.
machine.
Yeah, so it would be like that. Like, well, actually, no, it's not.
No,
Never mind.
it's
If
not.
your heart beats like that, you're probably dying or something.
Something's happening.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
what I teach is different. My stuff, what I teach is like for the kids that like maybe have trouble with that.
Mm-hmm.
Like
that would be me.
Okay, well then you're perfect for breaking then.
No wonder why I did the coin drop so
no
well.
wonder you'd be doing coin drops everywhere. Because what I teach is like how to be yourself as a dancer.
Nice.
Right? And not every dancer is like this. Ding, 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 ding.
That's
Some dancers
definitely
are
not me.
do, 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 all over the place, right?
Depends
So,
on my mood.
I teach like from day one. I'm like telling kids, I'm not teaching you guys how to dance like me, like your mom, like your dad, your teacher, anybody. You're here to dance like yourself.
Yeah.
And then in the underlying lesson is that, hey kids, it's okay to be yourself.
Nice.
You don't gotta look like me. You don't gotta look like that guy on TV.
Mm-hmm.
Look like yourself, and it's completely cool. It's actually better than looking like that guy on TV.
What's interesting is that I do that when I do like nutrition counseling, where I tell them you're going to find your own style and your own way of eating healthy. I can't give you everything because everyone eats differently.
Yeah.
So I try to figure out, well, what's your style of eating? What is your cultural foods? What do you do? I can give you this whole like meal pattern, but you have to figure it out yourself to put in your own types of food. So that's kind of cool because that's like freestyling.
Oh yeah.
Like freestyle dance.
Freestyle cooking.
Freestyle food.
That's true though, because like you could I don't know, like you could make a meal like template for people.
Yeah.
But like, for example, like Asian people are not going to make food the same way as Mexican people.
Nope.
Mexican people are not going to make the same
both is very
food
good.
as like French people, right? Everyone's going to have their own like flavors.
Flavors, yes.
And that's the same as dancing. We all got our same own flavors.
Oh my gosh. Eating is like freestyle dancing.
Yeah.
Nutrition is like freestyle dancing.
Yeah. You all got your different flavors, but it all comes into one to make your own style.
So if you Vietnamese, you making like a banh cua or pho.
Oh, okay.
But if you like, what other flavor you like, Vince?
For Vietnamese food?
No, it could be anything.
I don't know. I like a chili pepper.
Why did you get an accent with that?
I don't know. How do you say chili pepper?
Chili pepper?
But doesn't it sound better if I say chili pepper?
Yeah, it does. It does.
Well, I just wanted to take a commercial break to say shout out to our sponsor, coffee.
Coffee. Yay.
Brought to you by me and Lynn.
Cheers. Vince could drink it first while we enjoy this cup of coffee together.
That's something that we do often too. We make coffee together. We try to actually go explore coffee shops, but it's actually really cool because we're into coffee, like drinking coffee, and then we got actually into making our own coffee. So this is actually called a Chemex pour over.
For those of you that are not watching the video, Vince is pointing at a little coffee apparatus thing.
It's like a little funnel.
It looks like a chemistry like experiment. It looks like two, is it Erlenmeyer flasks? I think so. I don't remember. I have not taken a science class in a long time. But yes, dietitians take a lot of science classes, a lot of chemistry, a lot of biology.
For those who don't know, can you tell us what is a dietitian besides like keeping people alive?
Okay, so let me just break it down into like the 3 types of dietitians that you can have. But this is just very basic. There's so much more you can do. The 3 branches of dietetics would be food service, where you're doing like management and like making sure that the food is safe for people to eat, making sure that they're getting proper amounts of nutrition. So you see a lot of dietitians within like big food corporations and they're managing like food safety. Like, okay, well, does this follow regulation? So like for regulation, I mean like one of the things is like school nutrition services. So there's a dietitian there that will make sure, okay, well, this kid, these kids need to have this much calories. Now, I know there's a lot of slack on like school nutrition and like media portrays school nutrition as terrible. Yeah. But what you need to think about for these kids who are in schools, for the most part, the government is trying to protect mainly the kids that are underprivileged and underserved. And so what the dietitians have to do is they get a budget. They're told you have to provide the kid with at least 2/3 of their calorie needs daily. And this is all I'm going to give you. I'm not going to give you any more money. But you have to make sure that they're getting at least, let's say they need 1,500 calories a day. You need to make sure that you provide them with 1,000 calories at school, because who knows if they're going to be able to eat at home. So that's the biggest thing that we have to do as dietitians. Like, people are like, oh, would they give them like pizza, chicken nuggets, hamburgers? Yes, that is part of it. But you don't realize that part of the school system, they also have built in where the kids are required to pick at least 1 serving of vegetable, 1 serving of fruit, 1 dairy. And those all play into overall nutrition. And I know there's a lot of controversy over dairy, but dairy is a major source of nutrition for children. And especially they're growing bones and all that stuff. So
that's what's kind of cool though.
Wow.
So you know how like you were saying, like a lot of school food gets a lot of heat because people are like, oh, why are they feeding these kids this nasty stuff? And granted, like some schools, it still is like some not so good looking stuff. But there's a couple districts I work for that they cook their food in house, and like you could tell like some of these kitchen ladies, they be getting down in the kitchen because they make some pretty good food. Like there's the school I work at, and it's mainly the demographic is all Mexican kids. Like you don't see white kids, black kids, you don't see Asian kids. It's all Mexican kids. And the lunch lady, she'll make like traditional Mexican food for the kids. And
can I go to that school?
I don't know, but like sometimes, because I usually bring my lunch to eat, sometimes I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna go eat some pozole today. Or I'm just going to go get a papusa today, or quesadilla, or I don't know. Like they make good, and it's good food too. It's like, and it's different. They have their menu each day, and it's different. And the other cool part is this school, you know how like you're saying, like they, a lot of them, they try to push giving fruits and vegetables to kids. This school has like exotic fruits. Yeah. I don't know where they get these exotic fruits.
Which ones?
They had one day they had dragon fruit.
No,
they give the kids lychees, but fresh lychees.
Huh? Those are like some pretty expensive stuff.
Yeah, I don't. And this is not like a rich neighborhood either. I kind of think this lunch lady has like a tree in her backyard. I don't know.
Let's not say that, because that is probably not legal.
Well, it is in El Monte, also known as El Monte. I think that's how it's pronounced. But they have access to a lot of these type of produce in their neighborhood. So
that's nice. So that is one of the areas, one of the foods that is most federally, like, what is that word? You have to follow specific guidelines because it is the most federally funded meal.
Yeah.
Is school lunches, and you have to follow these guidelines. And what's interesting about school food service, that was actually one of my favorite rotations during my internship. You get to, I've always wanted to work with kids. Yeah. But you get to work with kids, and then you see that, look, I think it was like if 80% of the school is low income, something along those lines. I think it was 80% of the school is low income. That means the entire school will get free lunches or free meals across the board. I don't remember the actual percentage. I feel like it was 80%, but then it might not be 80%. But if a certain amount of the school is low income and are on free lunch, the entire school will get it. So that kind of just, it's nice because there's not segregation.
Yeah.
I remember growing up where I would get free lunches and then the other kids would have to pay for it. And then I was really sad whenever they forgot to pay for it. And so they would have to eat like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Oh.
So it was like the saddest thing to like, see these kids like kind of watch us eat what we're eating and they're eating something else.
You know what's sad though?
What?
When I was a kid, like that was kind of the case where it was like kids would like if you got free lunch, you'd get teased.
Yeah,
like,
that was the case too though.
You got the free lunch. Your family's poor.
Yeah, no, that's true. Like, I mean, because a lot of the kids, I feel like they were a little bit mean. I mean, kids are so mean still.
No, for me, it got to the point where like I would save up money. Like I would find change so I could just buy it.
Really?
Yeah, I would just because I got sick of the kids like talking, and I remember it was kind of funny too because you mentioned the peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I remember there was this time where, like my dad he made sushi for us for lunch. I brought it in, and granted, like I'm one of the only Asian kids at the school. I start eating my sushi, and then kids are like, "Ew, what's that black stuff? Gross! What are you eating?" And I remember this kid, these two kids actually. His name was Mark and Bobby, and they're like the heroes. They're like,
Aww.
"Oh, I'll trade. I want to try. I'll trade you my peanut butter and jelly for your sushi." So I traded sushi for a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Oh my gosh, was it like one of your dad's like futomakis?
Yeah.
Futomakis.
So it's like a roll, and so
like a vegetarian roll.
We're in first grade, by the way. So these are some first graders eating some sushi, and then I'm eating this peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Now looking back, I see that was a really bad trade.
I mean, as a kid, I feel like it's okay.
As a kid, I was like, "Thank you guys for trading me," because now it's kind of normalized a little bit. But now looking back, I'm like, y'all ripped me off.
So this kind of just made me think of a random like time growing up. We went to, I think it was Gold Rush or something, and ever since I was little, I've always thought my mom's food, I mean, to this day, the truth is that my mom's food is the best food on this planet.
Oh, it is.
But she cooks amazing meals, and I think I was in 4th grade when you do Gold Rush in California.
What is that?
The Gold Rush where you go to camp out at where they used to do the gold mining trips, and then
a field trip.
A field trip.
Oh,
sorry, a field trip. That's the word.
I thought you were going to like some type of gold rush thing.
No, we were on a field trip, and it was like the big trip of the year where you camp out for one night and then you go gold panning the next day. And so the camping part of it, some parents were making beef stew, and I saw the recipe, and then the teacher was asking, like, this was so back then, I don't even think they can do that anymore, but the teacher was asking like, hey, any parents, or do your parents want to volunteer to cook, and da-da-da-da-da. And so I remember asking my mom, I said, Mom, you make this dish. So this dish that my mom makes is called bak, which is the Vietnamese beef stew. But I was like, Mom, do you want to make it? Because yours is really good. And this is what they're asking. And it was like, thinking about it now, it's pretty sad. She was like, no, it's not going to be good. I was like, what are you talking about? Your food's amazing. And she was like, no, our food is going to be too weird for them. I was like, what? Like, this didn't make any sense to me. I was like, what do you mean our food? Like, what's wrong with our food? But she was referencing like the Asian flavors of like fish sauce and like how we make it, how we prepare it, how the flavors are different. And I was just like so caught off guard because I was like, I don't understand like at all. But now think about it. I'm like, okay, now that I'm older, I see what my mom was talking about, where people are like, ew, why does your food smell? Like, times I do not microwave my food in the office because I'm like, I don't really want to offend somebody's nostrils with my fish sauce right now. But
You know, I used to think like that, but now I actually do want to offend people.
Yeah, but it makes me feel bad because I get nauseated by certain smells. Like I don't get nauseated by food too much. I get nauseated by like perfumes and stuff like that. So I feel bad if somebody get nauseated by my food, then I'm just like, I'm a jerk too, you know. So I microwave it outside.
That dish, baka.
Uh-huh.
I don't see it being like anything crazy.
It's not. It's literally beef stew, and there's beef in it. She puts like cornstarch so it thickens it. There's potatoes, there's carrots. It's pretty much the exact same thing as
if you imagine like your traditional beef stew, but like way better.
Yeah. So I think when I went to the camp and then we ate it, and I ate whoever it was. I don't know whose mom made it. I don't know, but it was not that good. It was like,
what style was it? Like,
it was pretty much the same thing, but it was just bland. It was not, it just didn't have a lot of flavor to me. I was just like, I don't really know.
Little Becky Tran's mom just doesn't make baka as good as your mom.
I don't think it was a Vietnamese person. I doubt it.
I thought you said it was the same.
Like beef stew. I mean, at the time when I was growing up, I remember I haven't had like non-Vietnamese beef stew in a long time. But from what I remember, beef stew is pretty much baka, isn't it?
Oh, I grew up vegetarian, so I don't know. I don't think I've ever had beef stew besides baka.
This does not help.
Sorry, I don't know. What's the name?
Beef stew.
Little Gretchen Smith's mom.
Sure.
Okay.
Gretchen Smith's
mom.
Mom. I said Smoth. I don't know what that is.
Well,
it wasn't as good as my mama's.
I mean, I wouldn't expect it to be.
Nope. Have you tried my mom's baka?
No, I have not.
Why do you always say that? You have tried her baka.
I have.
You just don't remember for some reason.
I don't know.
You tried a lot. I mean,
I've had
I feel like you've tried
a ton
every
of
single
times.
dish that she's made. See, my mom cooks in this way where she cooks like in advance, and she starts prepping in advance for like several days. And so I don't know the process. I remember calling her one day, asking her how to make curry, and you were there, and I pick up the phone, and it was like, I'm speaking in Vietnamese, so Vince has no idea what's going on. But
Wait, let me tell you.
Okay.
I just hear that and this was also like this. Lynn's dad was he was like sick. So then like this is like a serious conversation. I'm like, oh my goodness, what's wrong? Is something wrong? And
wait, I think the part of it was Vince, let me get your phone. Was like the initiation
so I thought something was like
conversation.
I thought there was something seriously wrong, and then I was like, "What's wrong? What's wrong? What happened?" He's like, "Oh, my mom was just giving me her curry recipe."
But I was like, I pick up the phone, and it was during an intense time because my dad was like in and out of the hospital a little bit during that time. So, we were worried about his health, but then like at that point, I knew that he was fine. And Vince, I guess I didn't update him that dad was fine that day. And so my mom calls, and I'm just like, and I'm talking to her, and sometimes like we have this relationship where I joke around with my parents a lot, where I talk in a like funny manner, and Vince doesn't understand, and he can't like pick up the cues because we're speaking in Vietnamese. But then
I only understand when you giggle or laugh.
Oh, I was not giggling or laughing.
Sometimes there's a lot of yelling, and so I don't know.
I think I just said to her, I said, "Mom, how do you make your curry? You always tell me it's easy, but it's not easy because you do it, and I've never seen you do it." And I cook with growing up, I lived in the kitchen with my mom. So I cooked a lot with her. I mean, I didn't cook with her, but I helped her prepare a lot. So I was always present. But like curry, for some reason, these dishes that take long, like curry, baka, all of her soups and stuff that take long, I didn't watch her make a lot because it would take a lot of time.
You're just the little sous chef?
I was a sous chef.
You're just like cutting the onions for it?
Yeah, even though I hate cutting onions.
Oh.
Maybe that's why I hate cutting onions. Because I always had a
You're a cute little onion cutter.
No, I think, yeah, but I think I just said to her, like, how do you make it? Da, 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 da. You always like cook and you don't tell me. Like, I'm just joking with her, but Vince can't pick that up. And then she's like, okay, let me tell you. And I'm like, Vince. And I just gesture to him, like, and mouth out to him, give me your phone. And so he doesn't understand the context of what's going on. So he's just like, and I can see the concerned look on his face as I'm seriously like writing things down. And I'm like, and all he hears me saying is, and then what else? But in Vietnamese, and then what else? Okay, yeah, so this is all I need. But he can't understand that everything's okay. As soon as I hang up, he's like, everything okay? Is your dad okay? And I'm like, yeah, I was just, mom was just showing me how to make curry. But her cooking is very unique.
Oh, the translation problem.
Yeah, I think thinking about one of the things talking about one of the things I hated making the most when I was little was she would make these like kebabs, like skewer sticks, but she would marinate the meat first and then throw it in the fridge, and so it'll get really, really, really cold, and then like near frozen. Take it out, and then she'll try to like bring it back to room temperature. Because it's like we do these things where we cook for our ancestors a lot. Mm-hmm. Part of our cultural upbringing. It's like whenever it's like the anniversary of my grandparents passing, we do like a ceremony where we offer food and we cook, and then we offer food to our ancestors.
Yeah.
And so it's like several days of cooking and preparing. So that's something that my mom would prepare the night before and then throw in the fridge and then take out that morning of to like bring up to room temperature. And then when I wake up like still fairly early, and then okay, you know your job, so I'll go get the skewer sticks and put those on the skewer sticks. But I hated doing that job because the meat was so cold and my fingers would feel like it's gonna fall off, like hypothermia. Oh, it was like frozen fingertips.
Oh man,
to this day I still hate doing that. My sister, everyone knows I hate doing that.
So besides working in food service, what else does a dietitian do? Okay,
so food service is like a managerial position, and then the other one would be community dietitian.
Community.
So what that means is like upbringing of the community, kind of educating on general nutrition, healthy eating, just things like, let me take that word back, healthy eating, just general nutrition. But
so would an example of that be like someone who works at like Wic?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So like for those of you who don't know what Wic is, Wic stands for Women, Infants, and Children. It is also a government funded program for like underprivileged women who have children up to the age of 5 who are pregnant or have children up to the age of 5. It is a supplemental program where they provide food and nutrition, education, and support.
So you have community nutrition, and then what's it? Food service.
Food service.
And then what you do is.
And then what I do is clinical nutrition. So clinical nutrition is working in a sense of we use what is called medical nutrition therapy. So whatever just in the hospital mainly, whatever the patient has. So let's say they have like chronic kidney disease. There's a specific way of eating to prevent further damage, to prevent formation of like kidney stones and just things like that.
So you basically keep kids alive.
So right now, to clarify what I do, I work inpatient. I work in general pediatrics, but I also do rehab. So what I mean by rehab, I know like in general, from general population back then, I thought rehab as like drug rehabilitation. But this is like rehabilitation of like a medical condition. So we get a lot of kids who come in for various different things. I've had kids who got hit by a car and we rehabilitate them back to health. We give them physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy. I'm one of the therapists.
But what you focus on is
I focus on nutrition. So a lot of people don't understand, like a kid or anyone gets in an accident, they have a open wound. They don't understand like well, why does nutrition need to be involved? And I'm like, of course we do. What do you think rebuilds those tissues?
Yeah.
It's not magic that makes those tissues go back together. And even if they go back together without a dietitian involved, how do we know that that wound is not going to reopen? How do we know that they didn't obtain enough nutrition to properly remake these healthy tissues?
Yeah.
So part of it is I step in to make sure they're getting enough protein, enough fluid, enough vitamins and minerals and just nutrients in general.
Some people are really stupid.
No, they're not.
Yeah, they are.
They're not stupid. They are uninformed.
How many people, like I've known so many people, like, cause I dance, I've danced professionally and for a lot of years. I've known so many people that and I guess even me, I've done this before too. I've been stupid before too.
It's okay. I have to.
Like I've seen people that they'll like injure themselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
They hurt their back, they hurt their ankle, whatever it is. And then they're like, oh, it's like in their head, it's like, oh, it's because I need to lose weight, right? Mm-hmm. So then they go on these like really unhealthy diets, like starve themselves pretty much, and in order to lose weight so they don't injure themselves in the future, but then they don't heal correctly. They don't heal, and that injury that could have healed in a month now takes like years.
Yep.
And maybe it's still not healed. So now, your life is pretty bad because now you can't, since you're a professional dancer, you can't even make money because you're eating a stupid diet. And that's my rant.
I was gonna say, are you done with your rant?
Rant done.
Rant done. Rant over. But yeah, a lot of people don't realize why we get involved. I mean, it's kind of interesting because initially I worked in the adult hospital. Mm-hmm. And I feel like in the adult hospital, that was a question that I got asked often, like, why do we need to consult a dietitian? They're just here because they have a wound. And I'm like, that is exactly why you need a dietitian.
Yeah.
Because we screen patients. Well, in the adult team, we would screen patients. There are certain criteria, and wounds was one of them. If they have a wound, we will go see them.
I think maybe it's because like people off the top like will associate a dietitian with something that has to do with like immediate, like your digestional
not even that
tract.
Though. It's kind of interesting because a lot of people, I mean, in general, I don't know about within the healthcare, but like if somebody asks me, oh, what do you do? Or if they're like, oh, even like people I know, like relatives and stuff, they'll be like, oh, what do you do now? I'm like, oh, I forgot to tell you, but I recently started working at a children's hospital or something.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, what? You put kids on diets? And I'm like, no. And they'll say like, you put kids on diets and make them lose weight? I'm like, no, I do not do that. I am far from that. I try to maintain their weight.
By the way, that's kind of offensive, you jerk friends. And
that's very offensive.
Yeah.
So if you're listening to this and you know me personally, or you know a registered dietitian, please do not say to them, oh, you put people on diets. Oh, you make people lose weight.
You know what?
I do not do that.
I feel like people, they think of a dietitian in a literal sense. They think diet. You're going to put people on diets. Your whole job is making people lose weight.
So the thing is that the word diet literally just means what you eat.
Yeah.
What's in your diet, not going on a diet.
So you're a what you eat tician?
Yes, a what you eat tician. So like people always hear, it's because of like the diet world, they made the word diet and they stole that word from us and they use it in such a negative way.
Yeah.
But in actuality, when you just think of it literally, it's just what you eat from day to day.
Yeah.
Like when I ask people, oh, what do you eat normally? What's in your normal daily diet? They're like, oh, I'm not on a diet. And I'm just like, that's okay. How about we just do, and then it's called a diet recall.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, okay, what if we just like see what you eat throughout the day instead of calling it diet recall? Because as soon as I say the word diet, they like go into high alert. Like, I'm not on a diet. I'm never on a diet. And I'm like, that's fine. Mm-hmm. But what's in your diet? But it's just rephrasing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So people that don't know, what is the difference? Because I think a lot of people confuse a dietitian as is a nutritionist. What's the difference between a dietitian and a nutritionist? And would you ever see a nutritionist in a hospital?
That's a good question, Vince. So our title is technically, it's transitioned towards registered dietitian and nutritionist. So I am both. I am a registered dietitian. I'm also a nutritionist. But the difference between a registered dietitian versus a nutritionist, a registered dietitian, we have to go through a lot of school. It's a minimum of 4 years of a bachelor's in science, and you take a lot of science classes. My bachelor's degree included like a minor in biology, and I also have chemistry.
Yeah.
And then, so you take a lot of like human anatomy classes, physiology. We understand the full on kinetics of the body, physiology, like how we break down nutrients, how we break down food.
Yeah.
Not to say that nutritionists don't know that, but after that, we have to apply to get matched into a program to do at least 1,200 hours of direct supervision of practice. So when I say internship, that's what I'm referencing is during I think I did like well over 1,200 hours. A lot of programs do well over 1,200 hours of direct supervision. So you do this minimum of 4 years of school, 1,200 hours of practice, and then you have to pass a like board exam.
Yeah.
And then you get a job after that. So this is what's current.
So it's like a big barrier to entry.
Big barrier to entry. Because
versus like a nutritionist, I think you just have to read like 3 Facebook articles and then just sign up for this thing online.
I mean, technically you don't even have to.
Oh, really?
Anyone could call. There's not like a government regulated anything to become a nutritionist. I mean, my 5-year-old, he's not 5 anymore. My 6-year-old nephew could be a nutritionist.
So just so you guys know, if you want to become a nutritionist,
start saying it.
You don't have to read those 3 Facebook articles.
You could literally just go out there. And the thing is like, so back to becoming a dietitian, just to clarify, the 4 years of school is your bachelor's.
Yeah.
We are transitioning towards requiring a master's degree as well.
Yeah.
So master's degree before you could even apply or sit for the RD exam.
Yeah.
But that internship, that 1,200-hour internship is especially in the state of California. State of California is extremely competitive. So it's very hard to get in. It's not like, I finished 4 years. Now I'm going to go into my internship. No, you have to, in those 4 years, you almost have to get like all A's and B's to even get considered in an internship, especially in the state of California. During the last 2 years, if you're not getting straight A's in all your classes, you're most likely, it's very difficult to get matched.
Yeah.
And it's so competitive, and people don't realize how much schooling we have to go through to get to where we are.
So to sum it up, could you say like a dietitian is a very like credentialed person that regulates someone's diet or could consult someone's diet, versus a nutritionist? There's no barrier to entry. Anybody could be it.
Yes.
And I think that's why there's so much like bogus nutritionists out there.
So it's like you can go to like Sprouts and then someone will give you some nutrition advice. And it's like, what in the world? You go to a grocery store and someone's telling you about nutrition. Nutrition is not, let me say this again, nutrition is not an opinion. It is a science.
Yeah.
It is how your body and how things metabolize, how things work.
Yeah.
And people don't seem to understand that. Nutrition is one of those things where everybody has an opinion about it. Everyone has something to say about it.
Yeah.
But the true experts are the registered dietitians.
Yeah.
The true experts in nutrition are the registered dietitians.
And for me, in the dance world, or not just dance world, but in the physical fitness type world. Like there's a lot of dancers are physically active and just working with physically active people. I've met a lot of bogus people.
Yeah, I mean, I know there's like trends where people will follow specific diets and like, I know that in the dance community, especially when that one documentary came out that like kind of blatantly made it seem like veganism is the best diet for everyone across the board.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as one specific diet being best for everyone. What dietitians specialize in what dietitians specialize in is that we individualize nutrition care plans.
Yeah.
So we base it off of, like, we kind of talked about this a little bit in the beginning where we were saying like, I give you a meal pattern and you put in your own tools, you put in your own foods, you freestyle it yourself. But I can't just say, hey, here, eat the Mediterranean diet.
Right.
Follow this exact pattern. This is what you're going to eat. And then that's not going to work for every single person. Like that's not going to fly with my parents, my Vietnamese parents.
Yeah.
That's not going to fly. They're like, what are you talking about?
Like olives? I don't want to eat olives.
What is that?
What's
Oleo?
olive?
But I think like at one point in the B-boy community, there was a lot of people who were being vegan. And then I, as your significant other, was like watching it from the side because I don't want to get involved because I don't know these people well enough.
Yeah.
Unless Vince or one of his friends directly said something crazy to me, I will address it. But
well, I don't know if it was in the B-boy. It was just in the community in general.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of like dancers doing it. And not to say that being vegan is bad, but like there were so many people that
didn't know how to do it right.
Yeah, they did it really bad and like would get super, like it looked like they turned into like skeletons.
Like they were getting emaciated. So their muscles were breaking down.
Yeah.
And they were very dehydrated looking. And it just looked to me, I was just like, oh, this looks so scary. Like they need more food.
And I think a lot of people were like, oh my goodness, you lost weight. You look so great.
You
and
look
I'm like,
awesome.
I don't know. You look like a skeleton to me.
Yeah. I mean, I think we have a confusion where skinny is healthy, but that's not the case.
And I
so
think
many
that's
people
like,
think that.
Yeah, like I think when like what's that called? Like a lot of like people that were getting into like fitness competitions and where they or like stuff where they have to drop like a crazy amount of weight, you really see like a lot of health issues like arise. And a lot of people look at like someone who's like super skinny and like ripped. They're like, oh, that person's so healthy.
Yeah.
But then they don't see that, oh man, like they're kind of suffering from some kidney problems.
Yeah.
They're the girl's not getting her period consistently.
Wow. Vince really listens to me when I talk,
I do.
apparently.
I'm a listener.
Because that is one of the side effects of under eating for women and losing way too much weight rapidly and like not having enough % body fat. You could not have your period, or you could have a period that's not actually a period.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're like having
like
a wasted
like
period.
Like a comma or something.
Exclamation point.
In summary, whatever way of eating you guys eat, just eat healthy.
Or just a well-balanced diet. I mean...
Yeah, I mean, sorry, don't eat healthy, but eat a well-balanced diet. And eat enough.
Like, I know we said, like, there was a little bit of touch on veganism. Not saying that it's bad for you, not saying that it's the best diet for you, but do it right. If you're going to do it right. Don't just... I know so many people who are like, kale is good for you. That's all I'm going to eat.
Oh, yeah.
Kale.
I actually saw this. There's this guy I follow, and he's like really unhealthy, right? And I'm pretty sure his health, he's a public figure, and his health, I think, was kind of getting to him. So out of nowhere, he became vegan, and he was like doing it in the worst way possible. He was only eating like kale salads, and this guy's going from eating like fried, like Popeyes every day. So he's eating flavorful food. And then now he's eating kale salads. This guy looks so miserable. And I'm like,
sorry.
Man, like, I mean, yeah, he does need to change his lifestyle, but I was like, man, to go from that to like kale salads, like he literally
is he gonna maintain it? That's the question.
And also, he looked so unhappy. Like he looked depressed.
Yeah, I feel like I think I just did like a post yesterday about or the other day about food and how so many people have such interesting ideologies and ideas of food, where I'm a very like everything in moderation kind of person, like exercise in moderation, eating in moderation, going out in moderation, like having a balance in your life with everything.
Yeah.
Not just food, but some people are like, oh, I can't eat this because this is bad. And I'm just like, is it? Well, it's something you grew up eating. Like, for example, I grew up eating Spam. Yeah. Spam is something I will never stop eating. I don't eat it every single day. I barely eat it like once a year. Like I eat it once in a while, but it brings me pure joy. It literally brings me back to just like the old days when we weren't making that much money, when Spam was cheap food. Yeah. And my mom would like fry it up or like make it in the worst ways manner. Like she'll fry it up and then we'll put it on white rice, throw some fish sauce on there. Yes, we threw fish sauce on there and ate it just like that. Or she would like chop it up and then she'll like stew it for like a long time in more. So it's like very flavorful with like fish sauce, peppers, garlic, all these things, and super flavorful with white rice. And that's it. No vegetables, anything.
Sometimes I think like those like cheap meals where you have to like get creative to make it taste good are the best meals.
Yeah. And so part of that is like, I know that this isn't going to be the best nutrition for me, but it provides me with mental happiness. It provides me with another feeling in my life. And that's okay to have it. Like, I'm going to eat it. I'm going to enjoy it in that very moment. But the next meal I have is going to be how I normally eat. I'm not going to punish myself. I'm not going to go, oh my God, I got to go like do 1,000 squats now because I just ate some Spam. No, I'm just going to continue on with my life and do what I normally do.
I think that's like how the world thinks right now. They're like, if I eat this, that means I need to compensate and I got to do all this other stuff. And it's like,
no guilt in what you eat. So if there's anything you can take away from this podcast today is do everything in moderation. Don't feel guilty about what you eat. Move on. If you ate something that you're like, oh my gosh, you shouldn't even have this thought of, oh my gosh, I shouldn't have eaten that. Just think, oh my gosh, this food item made me feel happy or made me feel a little bit like this or whatnot. It's okay. Be with that thought in that moment and then move on. Don't like relish on it and just beat yourself up the rest of the day for it and be like, okay, now I could only eat kale salads, even though I was planning to have like a kale salad with some chicken on it. I'm not going to have chicken now. Don't affect what you're going to do the next moment because of that one action.
Yeah, don't become like the rest of social media.
Yeah, don't social obsess media over food.
When I open social media, I just see eating disorders everywhere.
It's okay. We can all have a healthier, better relationship with food.
You know what I do?
What do you do?
I go unfollow, pause.
Mute.
Unfollow.
Unfollow.
Depending on the platform. Unfollow. Instagram, I'm pausing you.
Anyways, thank you for listening to our very first episode of the Healthy Conscience podcast. If there is any topic you would like us to discuss in the future, please feel free to send me a message, leave a comment, and I will get back to you.
And don't forget to follow Lynn on Instagram at The Healthy Conscience. And follow me at B-Boy Vincanity.
Oh, snap.
Darn shameless plug.
Dun, 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 dun.
I didn't say a bad word.
Bye.
Bye.